How is it going, databases? No Date here, and welcome back to another Roblox Assassin video. Got some gameplay for you guys, and we're having a post-commentated video. And today, I'm going to be making a list of the types of scammers. So we're just going to go through all the types of scammers in Roblox Assassin, basically, and how to avoid them. And hopefully, this will prevent you from getting scammed. And this list isn't going to be in any particular order, but I'm going to try to list the most common ones first, and then as we go down, they're going to be least common as we go along. So these are 10 different types. So we have a list of the 10 types of scammers in Roblox Assassin. So yeah, without further ado, we are going to begin. And in case you don't know what a scammer is in Roblox Assassin, basically it is somebody who tries to manipulate you in some way to take any knives that you may have, and they use that to their own advantage to become rich. And there are many different ways, many different ways that people scam. So these are the types of scammers. So you're going to want to look out for these guys so you can keep your stuff and prevent getting scammed. So the first type, and probably the most common type of scammer, is the multi-step trade scammer. What do I mean by a multi-step trade? Basically, you know, when you do a normal trade in Roblox Assassin, it happens at the exact same time. Like at the exact same time, when you make a trade, the knives just switch. You get their knife and they get your knife. But there are other trades that people participate in that basically in no way, shape, or form can happen at the exact same time. And there are many types of trades that fall under the multi-step trade, and this is why this scammer is the most common. But basically, some of them include like Robux trades. So basically, somebody would be like, hey, give me your knife and I'll give you this amount of Robux. And that's just one example. And first of all, guys, those types of scams, well, not all the type of multi-step trades, but like Robux trades are actually not allowed on Roblox. Fun fact, you actually could get banned from that. So just so you guys know, you do have a risk of getting banned from Robux trades. There are also like Roblox item trades. So basically, what would happen is you would give somebody some knives, and what they would do is they would give you, hypothetically of course, they would give you a Roblox item, like maybe a limited, something in the catalog. They would go to the normal like Roblox trade thing, and they would trade you the item for a very discounted price. Obviously, that can only ever happen if you're Builders Club. If you're not Builders Club and somebody's trying to do that trade with you, they're obviously scamming, because you can't do that if you don't have Builders Club. Just multi-step trades in general, like an Assassin. Like, let's say, you know, like unfortunately in Assassin, there's only 4 trade slots, and like Murder Mystery X is like the only one who's done this right. Like in Murder Mystery X, you can just trade as many items as you want, but that's kind of beside the point. Basically, what can happen is somebody could do like a big trade that involves multiple items in their inventory. So basically, you know, a good example of this is, let's say you have like a Skeleton King, and you know that's worth 35 exotics now at the moment, and what they would do is they have like 35 tier 1 exotics, and you know that probably wouldn't actually happen, but this is just an example. And they would be like, oh, give the Skeleton King now and I'll give you all that stuff in multiple trades. We could trade over and over again. You know, that's a multi-step trade. One more example that I can think of is a game that a trade that involves multiple games. So basically, let's say you want to trade your assassin knives for knives in Murder Mystery 2. So somebody would be like, oh, give me your assassin knives, and then after that we will go in a Murder Mystery game together, and I will give you this and that in Murder Mystery 2. So, you know, it's the same thing really. It's just a trade that involves multiple steps, and there's really no way for it to happen at the same time. This is easily a way to get scammed, because you would give somebody your weapons and expect something in return, but instead they would just run off with your weapon. So again, things like the Robux trades are just not allowed, so I wouldn't even recommend you do that, because you do have a risk of getting banned. And if you want to avoid getting scammed by this type of scammer, the best thing to do, the absolute best thing to do, is to prevent multi-step trades at all. You know, just exclusively do trades that you know can happen at the exact same time. That is the best thing to do. If you do that, you will definitely not get scammed by this guy. So that is the best thing to do. But guys, you know, if you do want to take the risk, if you do want to do a multi-step trade that involves Robux or knives from another game, or like limiteds on Roblox and stuff like that, be sure to have a middleman. And speaking of middlemen, that leads me to the next type of scammers. At number 2, we have the middleman. So basically, if you don't know what a middleman is, you know, basically it's a third person to get involved with the trade. And basically what they would do is they would collect everything from the trades. Obviously, I'm guessing there's multiple ways to middleman, but like basically they would help in these types of multi-step trades, and they would also get involved in bets. They can also get involved in bets, and I'm going to talk about betting later on this video, but basically they could get into the trade, and basically they would prevent people from getting scammed. They would prevent scamming, and that's basically the point of a middleman, to prevent getting scammed. But ironically, what a middleman could do is they could collect everything and just run off with everybody's weapons, and basically they would just be killing 2 birds with 1 stone. They would scam 2 people at once. So ironically, you got somebody to prevent a scam from happening, and they just ended up scamming everybody in the process. So it is not a good time at all. So again, the best thing to do to prevent a middleman from scamming you is, again, to avoid the multi-step trades. That way, you're never going to ever need a middleman. But again, if you do want to do these types of trades, you want to take the risk, and you do need a middleman, be sure to get a trusted middleman, guys. There are many trusted middlemen in the Assassin Discord. You know, there's an official Assassin Discord. It's got people with the middleman rank, and I'll put the link to the Assassin Discord in the description. And if you get one, then you will have a good middleman. You'll be able to do a trade without getting scammed. So be sure to try to get in contact with these trusted people, because these middlemen will not scam you ever. And at number 3, for the types of scammers, we have the shark. And I call it the shark because it is basically like a type of scam. People call it sharking, so I decided to call it the shark. Basically, these are the types of scammers that target the noobs, like the people who just have no idea what anything is worth, essentially. Like, they want to manipulate them, they want to trick them. You know, basically, let's say you have a really good knife, but you don't know what it's worth. And, you know, somebody tells you, oh, this knife is not that good. Basically, somebody will try to trash talk your knife so that you would get rid of it, but in reality, your knife is really good. So again, let's say you have like a Skeleton King, but you don't know that Skeleton King is good. It's actually worth 35 exotics. And somebody says, oh, Skeleton King is not that good. Oh, it's just worth it's worth 1 exotic. And they're lying to you. They're lying to you so that they could get Skeleton King for a discount and get like a really, really good trade that is basically a scam. So you could end up having a really, really bad deal from somebody. You could have a really good knife and end up trading it for something really, really bad. So the best thing to do to, you know, not get scammed by a shark is to memorize your values, guys. One of the admins in Assassin has made an official value list, and it says all of the values in Roblox Assassin. So if you see the value list, you don't really have to memorize your values, but if you do, trades just happen faster. But, you know, if you know the value list, or if you just, even if you just check the value list before making a trade, you will know what the values are, and you could make a good trade. And if somebody tries to scam you that way, you will not fall for it. At number 4, we have the borrower. This is a very common type of scam, guys, and basically, what would happen is somebody would want to quote-unquote borrow your knife. So they will want to use it for X amount of time, probably like 1 round. They just want to have your knife for a little while just to see what it's like to play with that knife, and then they would give it back. But again, guys, 99% of the time, when somebody's asking to borrow your knife, especially when it's like a random person that you really don't know of, they will borrow your knife, they will have your knife for a round, and then they will just leave with your weapon, and, you know, they'll try to scam you. The best way to prevent getting scammed by the borrower is to just say no, guys. Do not let anybody borrow your knives under any circumstances. And some of these borrowers will kick it up a notch. They'll say, if you let me borrow this, I will give you this knife forever. So like, let's say you have a wind elemental. They'll be like, oh, if you let me borrow a wind elemental for a round, I will give back your wind elemental, and I will also give you permanently a spider in return for letting me borrow wind elemental. And this is to tempt you further into getting scammed, because now you'll be like, oh, if I say yes, I might actually get a knife in return. Guys, this is just a scam, alright? Do not listen to these people. They will run off with your knife. Alright, number 5 is the duplicator. You guys have probably seen this type of scammer once in your life. Basically, it's just somebody who claims that they can duplicate knives through some sort of glitch or hack, and obviously they're not going to tell you how to cheat, like how to duplicate the knives. And if they do, then they're probably just going to be very generic, so that you probably wouldn't know. They'd probably say like cheat engine or something. They'd be like, oh, I use cheat engine to duplicate the knives. So, you know, this person claims, oh, I can duplicate a knife. So they go up to you and they say, oh, give me this knife of yours and I will duplicate it for you. And then you'll have 2 of that knife and you'll make profit. Wow, it's like magic. And again, what are they going to do? You give them their knife, and they're not actually going to duplicate it for you. They're just going to run off with your weapon. Because, guys, there's no possible way to duplicate knives in Assassin. It has been possible in the past. You've been able to duplicate knives, but there is no possible way. You cannot duplicate knives in any way. So, again, if somebody says that they can duplicate their knives, and they're going to do it for you, just say no, alright? Just say no, because they're probably just going to scam you, alright? I've actually met a duplicator in game once trying to scam people, and I was ironically actually able to backfire the scam. I was actually able to scam them. I actually did scam a scammer once because, you know, they were scamming, so I decided to give them a bit of karma. So if you want to check out that video, you totally can, because it's a pretty interesting story that I had with a duplicator. But again, guys, do not give your knives to a duplicator. You're going to get scammed, alright? Number 6 is the CRAFTSMAN. So basically, let's put it this way. You're an assassin, right? And you don't have an exotic at all. You don't have an exotic. You just have one legendary. One legendary to your name. And maybe a couple of other knives, but you mainly just have a legendary, alright? That is your best knife. And, you know, you see somebody else who has 5 legendaries instead of 1, and obviously you need 6 legendaries to craft an exotic. So this person with 5 legendaries walks up to you and he says, hey, give me your legendary and I'll take my 5 legendaries and your 1 legendary, craft an exotic, and then give the exotic to you. So this is basically a trick. They're trying to take your legendaries so that they can craft an exotic for themselves and get out and leave. Because if somebody really wants to help you in that sense, like, oh, I'll use my legendaries and give you an exotic, what they can do is they can just flat out give you the 5 legendaries that they have. You know, like, literally they can just give you the 5 legendaries and then you can craft an exotic yourself. If they really want to help you, that's what they would do. If they want a knife from you to quote-unquote help you by crafting an exotic, they're really just going to scam you so that they can have an exotic for themselves. And a legendary for, like, exotics is just one example. It could be like when you're crafting a dream, somebody could be like, hey, give me a mythic and I'll craft a dream for you, and stuff like that. So again, if somebody tries to do that to you, just say no. You know, just get out of that situation and keep your legendary, because, you know, you can craft an exotic yourself if you work hard, and you don't want to lose the 1 legendary that you have. You'll get scammed. It's very bad. Number 7, the giveaway scammer. This is another common type of scammer, and you know, you've probably seen this type of scammer at some point in your life. Basically, there's this person who has this really cool knife, maybe like an exotic or a mythic or a dream or something like that, and they're in the server saying, I'm going to give this knife away to one of you lucky winners. Just somebody in the server is going to win. But there's a catch. In order to enter, you have to give a knife to them. Now they could say something like, if you give a knife, you'll be entered, and then I'll randomly pick anybody who enters. Or they can kick it up a notch. And what they would do is, they would say, whoever gives the best knife to me will win the knife that I'm giving. And that puts in a bit of competition, because now you want to give an even better knife in order to win the giveaway. And the giveaway scammer in particular is just very devious, because they're not trying to scam one person, they're not trying to scam two people, they're trying to scam the whole server out of their knives, guys. They're trying to scam the whole server at once. So again, if somebody wants to do a giveaway, they're going to do a giveaway. Like when I do giveaways on my channel, I don't say you have to give a knife to enter. I just say, you know, like, comment, subscribe. You don't have to actually give something. So if somebody wants to do a giveaway, they're just going to give it. You know, they're not going to ask for a knife in return. So if somebody's trying to do this type of giveaway, do not give them your knife, guys, because this is a scam. They're just trying to take everybody's knives on the server and then run off. So be very careful around these types of scammers, and be sure to warn the rest of the server that this is a scammer, because you don't want other people losing their weapons as well. At number 8, we have the gambler. This is basically when somebody makes a bet with you and then scams you. So basically, somebody will walk up to you and say, I want to bet my knife for your knife, and then, you know, you will play the game, and whoever wins first, it could be like best 2 out of 3 or something, best 3 out of 5, or like first to 5 wins, stuff like that. And basically, they would try to bet you and try to win, so that if they win, they will get a knife from you because you made that agreement. But if you win the bet, basically what they're going to do is they're just going to leave the server. If they're just trying to scam, then they're just going to leave the server if they lose and not give you what you deserve for winning. This is probably the biggest reason why I pretty much never bet in any game whatsoever. Like, so many people ask to bet, and you know, 99% of the time I just say no, because I don't want to get involved with that. You know, I feel like it's just a waste of time, really, because, you know, I'm betting with these people. I'm putting my knives on the line. You know, if I win, then they're just going to scam. So the best thing to do to avoid the gambler is just to not bet. And if you do bet, be sure to have a trusted middleman, because what the middleman can do is they can, you know, take the weapons prior to the bet, and then you guys would fight, and then what the middleman would do is he would give your weapon back, and he would give you the weapon that you won. And that's basically what a middleman would do. But again, make sure the middleman is trusted. At number 9, we have the quick trader. Now, the quick trader is pretty much extinct at this point. But, you know, long ago, I'd say about a year ago, Assassin had a bit of a different trading system. You know, obviously, it was 4 slots and you could trade. But the thing was, there wasn't a countdown at all. Like, there literally wasn't a countdown, and you hit accept, and you'd go through the trade review, and the trade would just end. So the trades would just be a lot faster instead of that countdown, like that, you know, 3-second countdown that we have these days. And basically what people would do is they would pretend to give you a really good deal, like a really good deal, and then very quickly, as you're accepting the trade, they would take their weapon out of the trade and then accept it. And then, you know, if you're not thinking, if you're going through the trade review without even thinking, you'd quickly, you know, you'd accept the trade, and the scammer would quickly accept the trade, and then you would just end up giving your knife for free, because again, the scammer just took their weapon out of the trade before actually accepting. Now, luckily, there's been an update that has added a counter to the trade, so again, the quick trader doesn't really exist anymore. But, you know, I decided to bring it up because it is important to pay attention when making a trade. Alright, guys, you want to make sure that you're paying attention to the trade, When quick traders existed, I personally never got scammed from them, but back then, quick traders to scam, like, that was very, very, very common. People tried to pull it on me all the time, and again, I never fell for it because I was slow with my trades. I was careful. I was making sure an actual trade was happening, but it is so important to pay attention. And at number 10, we have the hacker. Now, there are many types of hackers in Assassin. First of all, there's those rare types of very elite hackers that could somehow take knives out of your inventory. You know, that has existed. I do actually have a story about that, so if you want to check that out, you totally can. The video is pretty old, but, you know, it's still a pretty interesting story. And there are also people who just literally hack your account. They get in your account, and if somebody gets into your Roblox account, they can do anything to your knives. They can disassemble your knives, they can give your knives to another account, they can really do anything. So guys, be sure to have high security on your account, two-step verification and stuff like that. Don't give anybody your password because you do not want the hacker to take your knives. But yeah guys, those were the types of scammers in Roblox Assassin. That's pretty much it for this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and those other things that YouTube people do. I hope this video helped you guys, and I hope you guys can prevent getting scammed. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Toodles!